Oh, right. Okay. When did you graduate from the University of Lincoln, and what degree did you do?
Okay, so I graduated last September.
Oh, right, okay.
And so 2013, and I did business and human resources. It was a dual honours.
Cool. Okay, do you permanently work in this branch, or are you at other branches?
I'm just based here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you the only one in the HR department? Or
Yeah, it's just me at the hotel.
Right, okay.
We do have support from Hilton head office, but it is just me based here.
Okay, cool. So there's no pressure from like managers from above or below? You don't feel like you're...
No, it's very standalone. I have to reach out for support. They wouldn't come to me, so it's very standalone.
Okay. So the next question is how many hours a week do you work in Lincoln that you're sort of...
Yeah, so it's full time here,
Yeah.
around 40 hours.
Right, okay, cool. Okay, next section. How do Hilton monitor staff attendance? Is there like a procedure that you could...
Well, what we do, the staff that work at this hotel, they clock in and out for each shift they do.
Okay, is that
so,
with
no, it's actually with a fingerprint. It's quite high tech. So so when they enter the hotel, they'll pop the finger on the machine. It'll take the fingerprint, and then when they leave, they'll just clock out again. And then we pull a report every Monday, and we'll go through that, make sure that everyone's on time, everyone's been here when they've rotated on. So we check that against our rotors.
Yeah, that was my next question. What's sort of like the procedure if someone is absent, or if someone brings up like they're going to be late, something like that, for example?
So that would be managed by the head of department. So if they work in the kitchen, the head chef would deal with that.
Okay.
So they would go directly to them.
Right.
If it's an ongoing issue, we would then have a meeting, sort of a disciplinary, if it was ongoing. But if it's just a one-time situation, we are quite lenient, really.
So the different departments sort of have their own protocol?
Yeah. So each department has their own manager, and then they'll manage it within the department.
Okay. Yeah, that was my next question. How do you, what do you have in place in order to keep staff motivated? Do you have like a reward scheme or anything, like an employee of the month thing?
Yes, so we have a CARE programme. You'll be able to Google it actually, and you'll be able to see it. So CARE stands for Creating a Rewarding Experience.
Right.
Once a month we have a CARE committee. So, but you can Google that, you'll be able to find everything. But once a month we have a care committee, which is one person from each department. We all get together and we do fun things once a quarter. So we do, for Halloween, we did a Halloween competition where everyone carved pumpkins. We did a staff lunch. So once a quarter we always do something fun. For Valentine's Day we had a slave auction. We can't call it that, but an assistant for the day. So we just do fun things, and then in that care meeting as well, we nominate the employee of the month.
Okay.
So they'll get a meal with our general manager, and then we have a board, and they all have a picture on there. And then out of that we have an employee of the quarter. The employee of the quarter will get a bottle of champagne and £50 in vouchers.
Right.
And then out of that we have employee of the year, and they get to go away for, we send them away for a week away as well. So, we do reward people quite well, quite recognition. And,
sounds like it.
Yeah.
In your opinion, would you say the sort of hierarchical structure of Hilton hotels, as you know it, maybe this branch or overall, would you say it's quite a bottom-up sort of regime or top-down?
I'd probably say in the hotels itself it's quite bottom-up.
Okay.
But if you look into the head office structure, it is quite bottom-down. But by the time it gets to the hotels, it's equalled itself out.
Okay.
So we do listen to the employees, the team members, quite a lot, really.
Okay. The next thing is staff turnover.
Yeah.
We don't actually know anything about it yet, but
okay.
we're looking at what do you think, what's the sort of level of staff turnover?
Right, okay. Yeah, once a month actually, we look at the staff turnover.
Okay.
And it is something that we monitor quite heavily. Our staff turnover for casual employees is quite high.
Right, okay.
Mainly because we have a lot of students obviously being across the road from the university, across the river from the university. But our staff turnover is quite low for the full-time staff.
Okay.
So it is something we monitor. There's an industry average, and we're above the industry average for casuals, but below. So it is something that we would like to improve on.
if no, do you know what the sort of staff turnover levels are like for the senior managers in the
Senior managers, it's extremely low.
Extremely?
Yeah, extremely low for the senior management.
Brilliant. Okay.
Our management team has been here from opening, and I think it's same across all of Hilton as well.
Okay. Would you consider that Hilton are fair on pay, or do you think that there are some departments or some individuals that should be paid more? Or?
I think they are quite fair on pay.
Okay.
We do only pay the general team members minimum wage, but but the management team are quite fairly paid. Okay. But I suppose depending on who you asked, I'm sure if you ask the guys in the restaurant that have worked really a busy shift, they might say that they should be paid more.
Okay. How often do you sort of personally communicate with like hotel maintenance staff or hospitality staff?
On a daily basis.
Day-to-day basis?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Most in this hotel, there's not really a segregation between management. It's very much we all get involved.
Oh right, okay. So are you in communication with other sort of managers and senior managers?
Yeah.
Within this branch, or do you ever get in contact with managers from other branches?
Yeah, I'm in communication with the managers here daily.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't work operational, so it is more via email. But two other managers in other hotels will email, and we have conference calls once a month as well.
Oh right, okay, cool. Does Doubletree outsource any services like securities or chefs or cleaners at all?
They outsource the housekeepers here.
Right, okay.
So all of our cleaners are outsourced, and
Right,
security on a weekend is outsourced as well. Everything else is in-house.
Okay, cool. Another section. Do you employ staff who have English as their native language only?
No. We have a few people that English is their second or third language.
Okay. Do you have like a rough idea of how many international employees you have working in this branch?
I'd probably say we've probably got about, I'd say 10 approximately. But a lot of our housekeeping staff are.
And that's out of how many? Sorry.
Out of 80, about 86 at the minute.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's not too.
Do you? What's your tendencies to sort of employ people from outside the EU, or do you try and avoid that?
We don't really have a policy. We're more, if it's the right person for the job, we don't mind.
Okay, so it's more like bespoke.
Yeah. We're very much we recruit people rather than it's all about the person.
Okay.
Regardless of where they're from.
What procedures do you have in place for measuring customer satisfaction?
So Hilton as a whole, we have a thing called a SALT tracker. That's satisfaction and loyalty tracker. You'll probably be able to Google that one as well.
Yeah.
And basically, anyone that checks into the hotel, they'll get sent out an email. And it's just a questionnaire on a scale of 1 to 10. How helpful are the staff on a scale of 1 to 10? Breakfast. It's quite in depth.
Okay.
And they email it, and that gets sent directly to us. And then once a week we'll go through that, so we'll know exactly how we're doing customer service wise as well.
Okay, cool.
So we've got a few things that we do.
Okay. What recruitment stages do employees have to go through, and do those recruitment stages vary depending on the job role? How much you
Yeah, they do. So for just a team member, they'll have a first interview with myself and probably their manager.
Okay.
And then they'll have a second interview with our general manager, and then they'll do a trial shift.
Right. Okay.
For more managerial roles, it'll go through the same process. It'll have the 2 interviews, and then it'll probably be a presentation.
Right. Okay.
And they probably wouldn't have a trial shift depending on what they was doing. Say if it was a finance person, we wouldn't give them a trial shift. They'll do a presentation.
Oh right. Okay.
So it's a sort of a 3-stage interview process.
Okay. In your opinion, how do you think that the approach to HR may change within the next 10 years, or how has it changed since you've been?
Okay. It's quite interesting you said that. We got a newsletter from Hilton the other day, and they're trying to bring in interviews via Skype.
Right.
So maybe in 10 years, I think it probably would be done that way. Obviously, it works well because we're an international company. That's probably going to be the way forward.
That was
Was that? You've done your research.
Yeah. Well, so you've not done a Skype interview up to date then?
Not yet, but I think definitely that will go forward.
Okay. Just literally a couple more questions. In terms of health and safety, do Doubletree provide any training for like new employees? Or is it just sort of...
Yeah, so we have our health and safety executive that works here.
Oh, specifically.
Yeah, we have someone that works here. He's also our night manager, but he will do all of the health and safety in the hotel or the risk assessments. And when there's a new starter, they'll go through all of that and the fire evacuation.
Okay. Yeah, does this hotel regularly run fire alarm testing?
Yep, so we should do one, it's twice a year.
Twice a year?
For a full fire drill.
Yeah.
But once a week on a Monday we do test fire alarm as well.
Test the alarm, okay, cool. Has there been an actual fire in the workplace here so far?
No, nothing major.
Nothing major?
We've got one of those toaster machines that go round and sometimes that'll have a bit of smoke, but no, we've not actually had a fire.
Oh, right, okay. Okay, lastly, what's the main problems that employees tend to sort of come to you and raise with you?
I'm trying to think what that would probably be. Probably working hours.
Working hours?
Yeah, they'd probably be working longer than they would want to. The guys from the restaurant obviously would work weekends when they probably would rather not.
Right.
Working over Christmas periods. Just antisocial working hours would probably be the biggest problem we face.
Right.
But that would just come with working in a hotel.
But how do you let staff know like when to work? Like what's the different?
Okay.
You said you outsource the cleaners. Like,
Yes.
Are they done? Is their working timetable outsourced, or do you have to?
No, that is with the cleaners. That is completely outsourced. We don't deal with those at all. So with the cleaners, they get told. Their managers are actually outsourced as well, so they'll just come to us, see how many rooms they have to clean, and they will just rotate them.
But for like reception staff, for example, how would?
Okay, so for reception staff, again, that's their management that will do that, their head of department, and they will do their rotas 2 weeks in advance.
Okay.
They don't hardly anyone works set shifts apart from the admin staff.
Okay.
And then they'll just get told, 2 weeks in advance, oh, you're working Monday, Wednesday, Friday this week.
Okay. I think that's it.
Thank you very
much
that's okay.